Welcome back to SEC Now, Football Media Days. Presented by Regions Bank.
That way. Details, accountability, and toughness.
Details, accountability, and toughness.
Details, accountability, and toughness.
A couple of the guys and I guess there's a song that says that way in it. So we knew that it was, I think it started off as toughness, accountability, and details. We were like, well, let's just do that way because of the song.
It epitomizes everything that we talk about on a daily basis. Is it hard? Yes. It's very hard, but that is what championship teams do.
It is indeed time for Team 121. Almost time for them to take the field as we bring in the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, Butch Jones. You're going to head to the podium, third coach of the day. Your fans are going to be watching, glued to the TV. What's on the heels of 2 9-win seasons in a row? What's the message today?
Well, again, we're very proud of how far we've come. When you look at we're one of 3 teams in the Southeastern Conference to have won 9 games 2 years in a row. But we want more. And, we have a lot of momentum right now. I think that's evidenced by recruiting. When you look at our 3rd straight bowl win, hasn't been done in Tennessee in 20 years. The NFL draft, again, just very, very exciting. I think the energy that the new coaches have brought have really helped us. And this, quite frankly, has been the best offseason we've had. And I think that's attributed to Rod Gullickson, but also our 17 seniors that we have in our program.
You know, Coach, a couple of 9-win seasons in a row, but some people still aren't satisfied. And a lot of people want you guys to go to Atlanta, play for an SEC championship. Just how much pressure do you feel to win and get your team to Atlanta this year?
Well, that's the great thing about coaching and playing at the University of Tennessee. The expectations are always high, and that's what you want as a competitor. But the expectations will never be greater than what we have internally, and we want the same thing. We have that internal drive to get there, and that's what I like about this football team. Are we young? Yes. But when we look at how far we've come in 4 years, and a lot of people don't want to really look at that, but when you step back and you see how far we've come, we're building the program. We will have sustained success, and we will get there, and it's following the process, but we want that more than anything, and I know our fans do, and we have the best fans in America, and that's what drives me. That's what drives our players every single day.
Now, you talk about what the media, what the outside world thinks of you guys. I think we've talked about it up here. I don't think you get enough credit for what you've done at Tennessee, especially in a short period of time with what you were given. Is your message different inside the locker room? And what's been your message this offseason for your players in this upcoming season?
We've really simplified the message, and it's really 3 things: details, accountability, and toughness, of really going back and redefining ourselves. And we had to get bigger and stronger as a football team, and obviously that's why Rod Gullickson came in. But, again, going back and, once you start to win, and you guys understand this, is it's one thing. Our first year, we were everyone's homecoming opponent. And when you're building your program, there's an expectation that now when you play the University of Tennessee, you're going to get everyone's A game. So that's a whole nother responsibility along your players and your older players. But the message has been very consistent. And again, it's all about consistency in everything that you're doing.
Last year, defensively, decimated by injuries. We've talked about it. You understand it. A lot of guys, a lot of rotations, a lot of different starting combinations in the back end. Big plays were given up on the ground and through the air. You bring in Brady Hoke along the defensive line. Love what he's going to provide to that group.
Love Brady.
How do you make things better defensively against the run to make sure you limit some of those big plays that were given up on the ground?
Well, as you guys know, this is a line of scrimmage league, and it starts first and foremost with stopping the run. And I think the first answer to your question is getting our health back. Yeah. We have to get a healthy Kendall Vickers, who's here today, and he's back to now having his health back. A Khalil McKenzie, a Shai Tuttle, those individuals, we need to get their health back. And then playing team defense and understanding the run fits and how it all fits together. We spent a lot of time this offseason in doing so, and then getting bigger, stronger, and faster. And then we're going to have some true freshman play as well. But the expectation by which we're going to play defense starts first and foremost with, again, making a team one-dimensional, taking the run away. But we can't give up the big plays in the back end. And I think having our health back, TK, Todd Kelly is now back, getting Evan Berry back, Micah Abernathy back, all these individuals, Nigel Warrior. Our back end of our defense will be one of the most competitive units that we have, position groups on our football team.
Butch,
Well, I was going to just get to the offense. You know, we talk a lot about defense, and defense does win championship, McElroy.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, it does.
No,
but
not necessarily.
Let's get to the quarterback, because you made a quote that says your offense is geared toward the strength of your quarterback. Who's going to be the quarterback? I think we first got to figure out who's going to be the guy replacing Dobbs, and then are you going to gear the offense to his strengths?
Well, we are, and that's part of coaching and we have an offensive system where we're going to play the strengths of our players. And first and foremost, you have to have an offense that's quarterback friendly and it's quarterback driven. But we've set no timetable, and we've been encouraged and excited really about both. And really, it's a great problem to have. We have two very, very good, capable quarterbacks, two very good quarterbacks, obviously, with Quentin Dormady and Jared Garantano, and they're competing every day. And I think you guys know the more competition you have in your football program, the healthier it is for every position group, and that's what we have right now.
You guys got the #1 player in the country in high school, according to ESPN, from Jackson, Tennessee, Trey Smith, on that offensive line. And it's an offensive line that is experienced, and they played together for a long time. What have you seen from him as an early enrollee, and where does he fit at this point in that line?
I told our coaching staff we have to be careful that we don't put too much pressure on this young man. He's still 17 years old, but he is, at 17 years old, he's a difference maker. He had a 3.5 GPA in his first semester at college. He'd sit on this set, he'd be the greatest gentleman you've ever met, but when you step on the football field, he turns into a different individual. And I think he's really elevated the toughness in that room, but really our older players have really done a great job of really galvanizing our younger players in the standards and the expectations. And this freshman class has been different, which is great to see.
You know, when I was down there for the spring tour, the running back Kelly said, you know what, I'm going to be the best back in the SEC.
And I reminded him you said
exactly.
that.
He said he's going to be the best back in the SEC. So maybe we see an offense geared toward the running back this year?
Well, for us, it's not John Kelly, it's the depth. You know, it's Carlin Fields and me coming in, and then it's going to be a running back stable or core that's going to have some true freshmen step up and play, and we have some very talented freshmen. It's just how much can they develop over the next month, obviously from a skill standpoint, a strength standpoint, and a knowledge standpoint.
But one of the things, and Boog alluded to it, and he's alluded to it earlier in the day, 9 wins each of the last 2 seasons, yet it seems as though you or the program or the progress is criticized. Do you feel the subject of unfair criticism right now?
I don't ever look at it that way. I think it's a program that has high standards and high expectations, and that's what you want. As a competitor, whether it's a player or a coach, you want to be associated with a football program like that. Plus, our fans, they want it. And there isn't any more that wants it more for them than Butch Jones, our staff, and our players, and that's what we're working for. But you want to be in a football program that has those high expectations.
We already talked about an offensive lineman freshman, Chandler the running back freshman, a few other freshmen that are going to be having to play key roles both offensively and defensively. With the injuries that you guys have dealt with the last few years, have you evaluated or changed how you prepare young players to step in immediately and maybe play bigger roles than they were originally anticipated to play?
Yeah, we've looked at all that. We've evaluated everything, and not one injury occurred in practice. Yeah. Not one injury was one theme. Usually, as you guys know, you look at it and you go through kind of where you have 3 or 4 of the same injuries. We did not have that. You know, a lot of them were kind of fluke injuries. One guy running and trips and separates his shoulder, all those things. But I think the addition, again, of Rod Gullickson has really helped us. We've done a lot more injury prevention than we have, and we've done a lot in the past. But I think it's also depth. You know, where we're at in our program the first couple years, we had to rely on true freshmen to play in a league that's really, you're playing against 21, 22-year-old individuals, and maybe they weren't quite ready from a physicality standpoint or really from a maturity standpoint as well. And that's one of the things that develop in a program in the Southeastern Conference. But now we're ahead of that, and that's where our older players have done a great job to date.
Butch, we've chewed up a lot of your time before you head to that podium right there. We all look forward to watching you.
Booger, just give me a little love.
There it is. There it is.
You know how we do it,
I told them we're cheeseburger buddies.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Long's grocery store.
You wouldn't have known that this morning, though, would you?
I've not let them forget that.
That's right. Good for you. Good for you. We'll watch you down there. Thank you for coming by here.
Thank you.